Hi, I'm here to explain if a ball is stuck in the feeder before we turn it on, or you've noticed that a ball's dropped in because the feeder was on but the machine wasn't on yet. So you can see that the ball is stuck in here. Sitting by the machine will be this metal pipe, and you'll just walk to the front. Once again, make sure the machine is off. Okay, you'll have to take and you'll push it up, and you can see those holes on the side. You push it and then you can grab it with your thumbs. You just gotta be careful coming around the legs. Okay, and then get it up past this first hole. Then you just put that in through the hole, and that will hold the ball in place because we're not able to push it all the way back up because there's baseballs in the way. So now we've got this secured up here, so it's not going to cause any problems. Okay, and then at this point we're ready to turn the machine on. And so if you look at the machine here, here's the on-off switch. Obviously you have to make sure it's...
Make sure nobody's in the cage.
Yep, make sure there's no one in the cage. So you look down, make sure no one's in the cage. If someone's standing down there, make sure they exit the cage before you turn it on. Okay, then you want to make sure that it's plugged in over there, that this is plugged in. You can see that the light is lit up on this cord right here. Okay, and then also this is the feeder, making sure that this is plugged in. When you're first turning the machine on, you don't need to have that, but just want to double check that. Then we have the on-off switch right here. So we're going to flip it on. Okay, and you'll see that the Jug Sports comes up on here. That's how you know that the machine is on. And you'll notice the flashing light up here. That flashing light just means you cannot put a ball in until that stops flashing. You'll notice that the bottom wheel comes on first. Then once that one's getting up to speed, then the one on the left will start to turn. And then eventually the one on the right will start to turn. No, the light is still flashing because it's not up to full speed yet, even though all three wheels are turning. Okay, you'll want to wait until this flashing green light stays solid. Once it stays solid, that means it's up to speed. You'll also notice that the 63 was flashing, and now that it's not flashing there, this also stays constant. Okay, so now we have it set at 63 miles per hour. It's ready to go. So now I'm just going to carefully, you gotta be careful so you don't hit that wheel, but you're just gonna slide this pipe out. And as soon as it drops, you're going to spit that ball out. Okay, so now we are ready to hit. So we have it set at 63 miles per hour right now. Okay, so if you're ready to hit and you're all by yourself, we have this automatic feeder on here. And you can be standing down at the cage. This will be down by where you're hitting. And it's just a little press button. So when you're ready to start hitting, you'll press this button, and when you press it, you'll notice this red light comes on, which is a really nice feature. So if you're standing down there and you see that red light's on, you know the feeder's running. And now, every 8 seconds, a ball is going to come out, roughly 8 seconds. The next pitch will come, so that gives you time to take your cut, get reset, take a swing again. Okay? Now I'm going to shut it off, and you will notice that the red light comes off. Now, when you first turn it on, depending on when someone shut it off the time before, it could be faster than 8 seconds that first ball comes. It all depends on at what rotation they shut it off. Okay, so the first ball coming out could come out instantly, or it could be 8 seconds before it comes. Okay, now that we have that shut off, I'm going to show you how to make some adjustments with the machine. Okay, if you look here, we have the speed zone here. You can see that the setting is up here, and it's called a fastball changeup because there is a setting where you could get it to throw fastball and then in a sequence of changeups. So that's where it's going to be set most of the time. Okay, so we have it on the fastball, but you're thinking, okay, I want it higher than 63 miles per hour. So you can just speed it up here. Okay, now, if your son is in the younger leagues, you'll probably want it set somewhere down lower, maybe in the 50s. Okay, so you can turn it down so it's going a little slower. And the first couple times you probably want to have it a little slower. You'll notice that the green light is still it was flashing there because it hasn't gotten set to its speed yet. So you want to make that adjustment. Now, you also notice that when you change speeds, you may have to adjust the machine as to where it's going to pitch. So I'm going to push the button on the feeder again so that we can see where it's at. So I push the button and we kind of have a strike zone down there so you can kind of tell. So with it being a slower speed now, my guess is we're going to have to make an adjustment. So it's a little on the low side. So if it's low, you'll notice these two silver buttons here. Okay, so I'm going to shut it back off while I get it adjusted. Now, you can turn it, and if you look carefully, you'll see which way it's going. So if I went to the left, it went down. But we want to go up because it was a little low, so I'm going to turn it to the right, and it's moving it up. Okay, so now, once again, I'm making sure that no one's in the cage yet when I'm trying to get it set to throw strikes. So no one's in the cage. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit the button, wait for the next ball to come out. And now that one was a little high and inside. See another one? Well, that one was over the strike zone. So one thing I like about this machine is it doesn't put it in the exact same spot, but it's generally pretty close. So a little bit inside. So now you'll notice, I'm going to shut it off again, just so they don't keep spitting out constantly. You'll notice this other button down here. Now, this adjusts it right to left. And so I want to move it a little bit to our left. So I'm going to turn it to the left, and it's actually turning to the right. So it's almost like you have to turn it the opposite direction of what you want to go. So now I'm turning it to the right so that it goes left. Okay, so now I've moved it just a little ways. We want to see where it's at. I push the button, and now we're on the outside for a right-handed hitter. We'll watch a second one come through to just kind of see. And I went too far, you can see, so I'm going to adjust it back. Just takes a couple quarter turns, and now we're looking like it's right in the strike zone. So once again, I'm going to shut it off now, and I'm going to show you how to adjust if you want the speed to go faster. If you want the speed to go faster, you just turn the dial up. Now, we're going to get it up to about 75 miles an hour. There's 76 there, so I'm just going to adjust down. We're at 75. You can see it flashing. That's flashing. Wait till it turns to a solid green. Now that it's a solid green, it's ready. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the button. Now, my guess is now that we've cranked the speed up, it's probably going to be a little high. Once again, I'm making sure no one's in here. I hit the button, and it's way high. It was above the batter's eye completely, or the strike zone. So now I have to adjust it down. So now I'm going to turn it to the left to adjust it downward. Okay. Now, try it again. So I push the button. The red light's on, you'll notice. The next ball is coming. It's still a little high, so I'm going to make that adjustment a little more. Another couple quarter turns. Maybe still just a little high. So another quarter turn. And now it's looking more like a strike. You'll notice that left to right doesn't change a whole lot when you change speeds. It does change a little bit, so you may have to make just a minor adjustment left to right. But the up and down is going to be the big thing when you're changing the speeds. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. Okay. Now, one thing when you drop this controller, if you put it on the floor, sometimes when you drop it, it will actually turn it back on. So always look to make sure that this red light is off. So now I know that the feeder is off. You should never have to move the machine left to right itself. All the controlling should be able to be done clearly right here from these two knob settings. Because if we move it, now we've got this feeder sitting here, and we don't want to make those moves because then we have to adjust this feeder each time. And so we just want to make sure that the legs are solid on the ground. So every time you get in here too, I didn't say that at the beginning, but you want to kind of make sure that these legs are set firmly on the ground. Everything is secure. Okay, so you got the three legs, the tripod system for the machine itself, and the tripod system for the feeder. So I believe this fits up to about 40 baseballs. So after you're done, you'll want to pick up the baseballs and put them back in the feeder in the top. That's anytime you're using the facilities up here, we just ask that you pick up the baseballs when you're done and return them. If you're using the pitching machine, you'll put them back in the feeder. If you are using Just so if you're throwing live, you can move the L screen closer, and then we ask that you put them back in the ball cart.
What's the difference between the balls?
Oh, you'll notice that the ones in the pitching machine are these pearls. They have the blueprint on them. The ones that we are throwing live, these are the real baseballs. These are going to be the green diamonds. But you'll notice it says jugs and pearl. Those are the ones for the pitching machine. You just put them right up there in the feeder. And then the diamonds you want to keep in here. So these balls are specifically made for the pitching machine. So they're a little different from regular baseballs. These are going to be a little more consistent when you put them through the machine. Sometimes these, depending on the seams, how the seams get in there, can make a difference, and it might not come out as true. So